Witches, pirates, kings, shooting stars, and Robert De Niro are just some of the things Stardust manages to squeeze into its 127-minute runtime. And somehow, crazily enough, Matthew Vaughn, famous director of the Kingsman films, manages to pull it off. Everything from magic spells to a pirate ship in the sky all meld together to form an enchanting magical world that keeps you entertained throughout. While Stardust may seem as unconventional as a fairy tale film can get, the tagline even boasts the fairy tale that won't behave, the story structure follows remarkably closely to Campbell's Monomyth. Campbell defines the monomyth in this quote, which, in simpler terms, Homan Sadri writes, "A structural pattern common to a wide range of stories from around the world, where a heroic figure leaves the comfort of home, immerses him or herself in the unfamiliar, and experiences extraordinary events in an outside world, comes home after winning a battle with the central boon, blessing." Many of these common characteristics of the monomyth are present in Stardust. As described by Campbell, there are three distinct stages to the monomyth: the departure, the initiation, and the return. All of these stages are made up of many steps which aren't always present in a story. They are just common elements. With this, the general idea of Campbell's monomyth is that despite differences in the way the story is told, and the conventions and concerns adapted to the content for the listener, they all share universal meaning. The departure begins with a call to adventure, seen when Tristan watches the shooting star and promises to bring it back to Victoria.
For your hand in marriage, I'd cross the wall and I'd bring you back that one star.
The shooting star is Tristan's hail to adventure and turns out not to be quite what he thought. In this quote, Campbell writes, "Or the herald is a beast, representative of the repressed, instinctual fecundity within ourselves, or again, a veiled, mysterious figure." The crossing of the first threshold is next, as the hero goes forward in his adventure until he comes to the threshold guardian at the entrance. This is very easily seen in the old Ninja Guardian man of the wall. After getting beaten up by the Ninja Guardian man, supernatural aid is given to Tristan by his father, who helps him get to Stormhold with a Babylon candle, and again by Captain Shakespeare, who gives him magic lightning. As you can see, so far, the fairy tale film that won't behave is behaving pretty well. After the departure stage in the monomyth, Tristan is well on his way to becoming a fully fledged hero, but not without the road of trials. This is the first stage of the initiation, and according to Campbell, involves the hero moving into a dream landscape of a curiously fluid, ambiguous forms where he must survive a succession of trials. This can be seen with the not-so-friendly time Tristan has at the inn, the ship, and then finally in the witch's lair. The most important and prevalent step of the initiation for Stardust overarches the whole film, and that is the meeting with the goddess. This is very literally seen in Yvain, who is a personified immortal fallen star. His ultimate test of the whole film ends up being seeing past Victoria and her selfishness and falling in love with Yvain instead. The meeting with the goddess is the final test of the talent of the hero to win the boon of love. Finally, after killing some old ladies and becoming the king of all the land, the departure is rather a refusal to leave. The responsibility is frequently refused to return. While he does return to Victoria with his promised star, it's not the herald she's quite expecting.
You want to grow up? Get over yourself.
What is the final stage in Tristan's journey is the magic flight. Now far into his life as the king of Stormhold, with Yvain by his side, they fly up into the stars, and she gives Tristan the immortality the witches and princes initially desired. So overall, Tristan gets a pretty sweet deal out of the monomyth and grows as a person. As Tristan grows as a person, goes through rites of passage, we can relate to him as a character. As can be seen with psychoanalysis, cinema bonds us emotionally to the characters we see on screen. We begin to identify with them and relate their struggles to our own. This relates back to the universal themes of the monomyth. As we all face universal trials and tribulations, the stories we tell reflect those same troubles.
The pressure of maintaining the whole Captain Shakespeare persona for the sake of the crew. Ugh, I don't know, sometimes...
Tristan's journey is the journey of the monomyth, and the journey of the monomyth is a universal rite of passage. The monomyth is intended as a model to demonstrate the fundamental unity and similarity of myth, and thus of human experience throughout the world. Ultimately, again, fantasy film can be seen as a form of escapism, and to conclude, Stardust fits this very well. Tying to the themes of psychoanalysis and self-identification, Matthew Crofts and Janine Hatter write, "Stardust is a metaphor for how adult readers can regain their childhoods through fairy tales and their imaginations." In summary, Stardust lays out the groundwork of the monomyth, and allows us, the viewer, to relate to Tristan's journey through Stormhold. We identify with what he is going through due to the universal nature of the monomyth. Thanks for watching.